Today I'm going to be going over the top 10 most common reasons why your dropshipping store isn't successful and what you can do to fix these mistakes, whether you're spending too much money on ads, not getting any sales, or getting flooded with chargebacks. There's a few small changes you can make to turn your store around and start seeing results. So getting right into it, the first mistake almost every single new dropshipper makes is having a bad product. So not having a good product in your dropshipping store is going to come with a whole lot of other problems in the future by not getting any sales, not getting any interaction on your ads, having a bad conversion rate, and all these issues could also be attributed to other mistakes that you're making. So the first thing you always want to rule out is if you have a good or a bad product. If you don't know how to check this, you basically want to start by looking through your competitors. If your product is something you can find that's been working in the past, and if you can search this up on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, and you see other pages and people selling a similar or the same product and being successful, getting good engagement, and getting a healthy amount of sales, you can pretty much rule out that your product isn't terrible. Although it could be saturated, there could be other things wrong with it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad if you can see that it is currently working for other people. So if you're not able to find any sales and your product isn't something you think that is going to be able to be sold long term, that just means you have a bad product, and there's a few different steps you want to take to go ahead and find a better product. First things first, you want to follow the rule that I just talked about by finding products that have been sold or already selling and currently getting sales for your competitors. So you can do this by going through TikTok and searching search terms like 50% off, TikTok made me buy it, Amazon finds, and find people who are currently selling dropshipping products and find the listings and ads that are getting the most engagement. You can look through websites like Mania to see how many sales the competitor is currently getting, and you're able to judge how much profit, how many daily sales, and how well that product is currently doing for the competitor. And if you think you can sell a better version of the product, if you think you can market it from a different angle or just attract a different audience or location, then you could go ahead and pretty much take a big inspiration or even copy your competitor and start selling that product for yourself. So once you've ruled out that you don't have a bad product, or you finally found a product that you see as getting sales, we're going to move on to the next mistake that most dropshippers make, and that's going to be having poor advertisements. So besides having a good product and a half decent offer, a good advertisement is the next key thing that you need to actually get sales through dropshipping. There's a few different critiques that I've seen a lot of people make with their advertisements, and they're pretty constant across new dropshippers, and I think there's some things that you should always work on. First mistake is not showing your product fast enough within your advertisement, because people scrolling on TikTok and short form content especially have the shortest attention spans, and they're not going to wait for you to talk about your product before you're even showing them what it does. So as soon as you start a video and start creating that ad, you're going to want to show the product as soon as possible and start building interest within the customer by showing the product off, show what it does, and keep them interested in your video. Because especially if you're doing organic marketing through short form content, the most important thing to get sales through your product is by building an emotional connection with the customer. If a potential customer is watching your video and they don't see any reason why they should have your product, if they can't see any use case within their actual life, that's not going to be a sale. They're not going to want to purchase from you because they can't justify them spending the money for whatever your product is. But if you're able to build some kind of emotional trust with your customer, and if they can see your product and they can envision it themselves within their own life, and they can envision themselves using it on a day-to-day basis, and that's going to be when they can start justifying spending the money on what you're selling. The next mistake tying into having a poor advertisement is by having poor advertisement quality. So if you're able to have the basic bone structure of an advertisement by having a good connection, by having a good video and a good use of your product, the quality could still be suffering, and that's something that a lot of beginner dropshippers struggle with, and there's a few different things that you need to focus on to give your advertisement a better look and feel. The first thing is by having good lighting. A lot of people who sell products through short form content think the videos don't have to be high quality just because they're looking like an everyday day-to-day video. But if you want to stand above your competition and get consistent sales with your dropshipping store and build a future brand, you're going to want to step it up and put the extra effort in to have a good quality within your advertisement. If you don't have good quality studio lighting or softbox or even a ring light to go in and put behind your product to start showing it off, you could even go outside where there's good lighting from the sun, or just stand in front of a window and shoot with your phone facing the other way so the light from the sun comes in and basically puts a spotlight on your product and doesn't get grainy. Because especially if you're using a smartphone to record this video, videos tend to get really grainy if you're shooting in a dark or low light environment, and it's just not going to give your video a good look. The next critique is going to be having bad audio quality. So if you have the lighting situation figured out, audio quality is going to be the next thing you need to focus on. So if you're talking in your video, you want to make sure there's no fuzz, no background noise, and it's not peaking. And if you don't have access to a good microphone, or even just using the microphone in your iPhone, you're going to want to go ahead and stick with something like the text-to-speech on TikTok, or hire out your content with a UGC creator. If you guys don't know how to go ahead and get UGC videos for your dropshipping store, you can go ahead on this channel and look at a video that was posted a few days ago showing you how to purchase and how to go about customizing UGC content. You should never skip out on advertisements. It's often way more worth it to purchase custom UGC videos for a couple $100s than filming videos yourself and spending that money instead just on ad spend, because if you don't have a good advertisement, all that money is going to go to waste. The next thing tying into the advertisement quality mistake is by having no point of interest. So if there's so many things going on within your video and there's things moving in the background, you're in a cluttered room and trying to show off your product, people's attention is going to be going everywhere, looking at everything going on in the video besides looking at the product. So if you guys haven't noticed, by looking on TikTok and looking at other successful brands, all of the most successful advertisements have one thing in common, and that's by making the video strictly about the product. There's no distractions in the background, nothing else going on, no background noise, and it's strictly a pretty blank environment just showing off the product. So this is something you want to copy for your advertisements, and make sure the people watching your video are solely focused on your product and what you're saying and showing off in your video the whole time. The next mistake a lot of dropshippers make is having poor branding or no branding at all. You want to build trust with your customers when they're going onto your website, where they can see reviews and they can see you have an actual built brand on your product. If you have some scammy looking general store selling all kinds of products from different niches, the customer isn't going to want to put their credit card info into your website and make a purchase through you. You want to make sure you have a custom branded website that aligns with your products. You have a logo, a clean website, you import some reviews from AliExpress, so when customers go onto your website, they're able to see you have a built brand and this is a real true business selling the product, and they're able to build a little more trust and feel a little bit safer about making a purchase through you. The next mistake, also tying into having bad branding, is just having an overall bad website. So people aren't going to buy from a poor quality website if it doesn't look good to them, if your color's all over the place, or if they're just completely turned off from looking at your website. Another thing that will tie into having a bad website is when people go too over the top. Even if you're a good website creator and you found the best courses, the best tutorials, or hired someone to make your website professionally, if there's too many things going on, too many distractions, you have pop-ups, plugins, sliders, animations everywhere, people are going to be distracted. And this also kind of ties into what I was saying with the advertisements, where you need a specific point of interest. You definitely want a few different upsells and a few different ways to sell your customers within your website, but if they're distracted and looking everywhere and not just completely focused on the product that's being sold and on the main landing page for the product, you're going to risk losing a sale, a potential customer, and the money you spent to get a click from the ad. If you guys want an in-depth step-by-step tutorial on how to build a simple and clean one product dropshipping store, you can go back on this channel and see where I showed you guys my step-by-step process of how I build a one product dropshipping store to test new products, and I'll walk you guys through the entire process. Another thing people do is spend too much time on their website. So if you guys go back and watch my store building tutorial, you can see that I made an entire one product dropshipping store, imported the product, got the reviews, got a bundle pack and images, all within about 30 to 45 minutes, and then I'm able to test that product. And if that product didn't work, and if I'm losing money on the ads and I decide to cut it, I only lost about 30 to 45 minutes of my time, and I have no harm just cutting that website, deactivating it, and starting another one for a new product. But people sometimes are so invested in the product they're selling and want to build the best website and have the best branding whatsoever, have every single app and upsell and pop-up they could possibly have, and spend days and days building this website. But if that product fails, it's going to tend to make you attached to the product you're selling. And if you can see that your product isn't going to be successful and you can see that you're not getting sales, you're not going to want to cut it so easily and move on to the next one, since you've already put so much effort, time, and money into building that website. You want to go ahead and build a very quick and simple, easy store to test that product. And if you have a successful product and start seeing good numbers, obviously you can go back in and completely re-optimize your website, build it from the ground up, and make it as good as possible, because now you have that proof of concept and you can see that it's not going to be a total waste of time by spending a little bit more time and money on the website. The next mistake, and if not the most important mistake in this video, is by having a bad supplier. So if you tend to use AliExpress to source your dropshipping products and you go through a Chinese supplier who's selling hundreds of different products and trying to ship out everything at the same time, you're going to run into a few of the same issues that thousands of other beginner dropshippers have also ran into as soon as they found their winning product. A lot of AliExpress suppliers take up to 30+ days to get the product to the customer, and when customers are waiting 30+ days for their product, they're going to tend to refund you or file a chargeback because they've been waiting so long, they have no tracking updates, and they're not able to tell if they've gotten scammed or if they're just waiting a long time to get their product from China. So that's going to lead you into the next problem from AliExpress, which they don't have any refund or chargeback product management. If someone refunds the product, it's going to get sent back directly to your house, and you have to figure out what to do with it from there and deal with the loss yourself. You're also going to deal with poor quality products and constant stock and inventory changes, as well as price changes, and occasionally the product just getting totally removed from the marketplace. If you want to solve all of these issues at once and use a beginner-friendly supplier that's going to make it super easy to get started fulfilling your orders, I'd recommend going through Zendrop. There's a link in the description if you're interested. Basically, they can get whatever product you choose to sell from AliExpress, but they're going to go through their private supplier network and find you the best price and the best shipping time with the best quality product to get that to your customers within 10 to 15 days at the max. Now, the customers are also going to get tracking information. So although the customer still isn't getting the product within a couple days, they're going to have tracking information to have the reassurance that they're still going to be getting it at a certain date. Now, Zendrop also has auto fulfillment, so every time you get orders, they're automatically going to fulfill those and get them shipped out to the customer, as well as you can add custom thank you cards. They have automated refund management and more. The next mistake is having no budget optimization. A lot of people like to go in and spend all their money on their first ad set. They made one good video and they're going in with hundreds of dollars and their entire dropshipping budget into an advertisement that either isn't going to work or give them bad results. You have to be able to optimize and strategically place out your budget to start testing the product. So you want to make sure you have enough budget to test about 5 to 10 different ad campaigns to see if your product is going to work or if it's going to flop. If you have the funds, you also want to be able to purchase UGC videos to see if that performs better than the videos you're creating yourself. And obviously there's a bunch of different split testing and TikTok ad strategies that you could go through. If you guys want help setting up a TikTok ads account and running your first campaigns, you can go back on this channel and find the videos where I showed you guys how to do exactly that. The next mistake that a lot of dropshippers make is by having too much variety on their store. A lot of beginners think it's easy to test multiple products at once. Instead of starting a store, cutting the product if it fails, and then starting another one, they're just going to make one basic general store where they're selling tens of different products from different niches, making videos on different products at different times, running ads on different products, and driving all that traffic and all those potential customers to the same landing page that's just promoting a ton of different products. Now, the biggest problem with this isn't even by having a general store in the first place, it's because you're not focusing on one product as a beginner. Especially if you're a beginner with dropshipping, you want to drive all you can switch up the color scheme, switch up the logo, and kind of change some stuff up on your website, but you want to keep that one product theme because in my opinion, especially if you're a beginner with dropshipping, you want to make sure that it's a clean one product simple store. And last but not least, the next mistake we're going to talk about is cutting losses too quickly. So people tend to not give their product a chance. If they start running an ad or a couple different ad campaigns at $50 a day, a couple days later they're going to see they're not getting sales or getting a poor conversion rate and just instantly cut that product and cut everything off. But the problem with this is you're not really giving your product a chance. Me personally, it's taken about 5 to 6 days for my TikTok ads to get fully optimized and start delivering to the correct audience. It does take a few days. Everything isn't going to happen on the first day, and you're not going to be able to judge if your product is going to be a winner or not on the first day until you become an intermediate to professional level dropshipper. You want to go into each store with a set budget and make sure you can stretch this budget out through ads, UGC, and other marketing expenses you may need, and make sure you can cover all those expenses for each store for a full week. And if your product isn't getting any sales or it has every single negative aspect in every number after a full week, that's when I'd recommend cutting the product and moving on to the next one. But if you're getting a poor conversion rate and other poor ad metrics and you're still in the profit, there's definitely a lot of optimization you can use, and you can refer back to all these mistakes we talked about in this video to change and see if you can make the ads perform better in the future. Without further ado, that's been the top 10 most common mistakes that I see pretty much all new dropshippers make. So if you're making any of these mistakes, I hope this video helped you out to catch yourself and fix them without losing a ton of money. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and cut this video here, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.